maybe a bet if you're looking for some horses. They've got a good TAB apparently down there. We'll wait for another break in innings to go through some of our other sponsors because we've got quite a few of them this year.
Right, and just having a look at what's going on around the league. Up at Kensington gone to a 2-0 lead over Sturt. As I said, Adelaide 3 up at Glenelg. Henley 2 up at Golden Grove. And with Nico van der Linden at the plate, he takes the first pitch for a called strike. And East Torrens and Woodville level at Findon. So van der Linden, as I mentioned the last time we were in this position, Jamie, had a bit of a delayed start to the season through injury and business and what have you. But he started to find some form. That's a ground ball to Nick Paparella. And the ball gets away from Ben Short. And van der Linden makes it safely to first as a result.
Just a touch high with that throw. He's got a great arm, Nick. Probably just took a little longer than he maybe should have and needed to really let one go, and just left it a little high for the first baseman to collect. So we got the first runner on with none out.
Up at the plate next is the right fielder Jude Barker. Jude's an 18-year-old at the club who's got some potential in a number of areas of the game of baseball, not least of which is his batting.
Yeah, came to us as a pitcher really, Mark, but has really improved his batting, and this year in particular has really found his swing and has got rewarded with some A-grade starts. So we're really looking forward to seeing what the future lies for him.
And Barker fouls that one up, and I think he's just going to go out of play. The ball on a strike on Jude Barker. Yeah, Jude's had 38 at-bats and got the 9 hits, 2 of which have gone over the fence. And he's batting just below 250, so that's pretty respectable for a player in his first full season of Division 1 baseball. It's a hit and run, and van der Linden got a good jump, but Barker fouls it away, so we'll reset. The count is 1 ball and 2 strikes on Jude Barker. And a lovely curveball from Nick Hutchings, completely bamboozled Barker there, and he swings through for a K2 for the first out of the bottom of the second for West Torrens. Coming to the plate now is the third baseman, Jacob Scott. Now behind the McGarry brothers for hits for the club. In fact, Jacob is sitting in third spot. He's had 23 hits behind Tom on McGarry on 31, Sam McGarry on 27. So Jacob's had a very respectable year. He's batting just below 270, and we're looking forward to him developing some consistency when it comes towards the finals, because as we all know, teams premierships are not won by one person. You have to have the team playing well, the momentum has to be going, and certainly Jacob would be part of that. Called strike there.
So often see it's the 7, 8, 9 guys that win you a game of baseball. And yeah, if Jacob had a little hot streak there, I think it might have been pre-Christmas where he just couldn't miss. If we can get him back to that or some sort of form like that, he will have a great final series.
Fouled away. We've got 1 ball and 2 strike. It's away a bit from Hutchings there.
I was just about to say he's been looking so much more consistent in this inning than he was. Had a bit of the jitters in the first innings, not quite finding his mark, Nick, but this innings he's been around the plate, looking a lot more comfortable.
Van Lennon's picked off, stealing second for the second out of the inning. So the lead-off error from the shortstop, which overthrew first base, is negated. And now on 3 balls and 2 strikes, Hutchings is on the verge of getting himself out of this jam. It's just a bit up, and Scott earns the walk. Next to the plate for West Torrens, in the bottom of the second innings with 2 out, is the left fielder, number 5, Reese Lounder. Again, Lounder's had a fairly consistent season. He's picked up 13 hits and is batting in the 220s. But he's been pretty consistent out at left field, been a very good fielder, and he's come up with a couple of clutch hits. So the 220 is not necessarily indicative of the hits that he's managed to find. In fact, the last game against the Southern Districts, when Ethan Scuia was pitching, he was the only hit while Scuia was on, and he hit him off the fence. 1-1 is the count on Reese Lounder, left fielder. Swings through it. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, Mark. He probably hasn't got the amount of hits that he really wanted this year, but he has certainly hit in important situations this year, which is why he keeps finding himself in this lineup.
Gets hold of that, but he hits it just enough for the left fielder, Kerry McLeod, to come in and pocket that, and no damage done for Hutchings. Just the 1 walk, and the error does no damage, and it's still 0-0 after 2 innings down here at Lockley's Oval.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a tight one. We're in for another tight contest here, Mark.
Mm-hmm. Both pitchers are certainly attacking the plate, keeping the pressure on the hitters, and just doing enough with the ball to create some doubt in their mind. And of course, as we all know, a round bat and a round ball don't make for easy hitting.
Both teams have had some runners on early with not many out and haven't been able to get anyone past second base yet. So pitchers doing a great job to keep their teams in it at the moment.
Andrew Rogers, the veteran third baseman for Southern Districts, is the next batter. Looks at the first pitch over the outside edge. Off the plate, 1-1. And Rogers has had a bit of a patchy season. He's certainly had some hits, and obviously is very reliable at third base. But to this point in time, he's batting 180, and he's had just the 7 hits for the season, according to my stats.
2. laid off a very good pitch there. That one was looking like it was going to grab the outside edge, but darted away, so a good take then.
Inside, just avoids the pitch. Full count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And picks off the walk.
Well, another lead-off runner here. It'd be interesting to see into the 3rd inning whether they look to advance him with a bunt here. Coming towards the bottom of their lineup.
Number 8 hitter is Byron Turner. He's the right fielder.
Certainly Jacob's onto this. He's playing well inside the line. He's certainly expecting the bunt, and here it comes.
Ball down. Another ball down. 2-0. So a good tactic at this stage has got into Corticus's head, and he's just missed the mark on the last 2 pitches. Rogers is still at first base. Finds the target on that occasion for the first strike. 2 balls and 1 strike. Rogers remains at first. Turner gets the ball down, but unfortunately it's foul. Evens the count up at 2-2.
Let's see if he comes around again this time.
That ball's going to go foul. It's popped up. Hambley was showing some interest, but that was way out to the right-hand side. Still 2-2. And a good ball out to centre field. Good piece of it, I beg your pardon, from short. So I'm not short. From Turner, I beg your pardon, Byron. But centre fielder Jasper Clark was able to track it down for a pretty straightforward out. When I say that, Jamie, he is looking straight into the sun, so if there is such a thing at this time of night.
Yeah, everyone that's watching here that has played at West Torrens on a twilight game knows what it's like in the outfield, and certainly on the left side of the field anyway. Centre left is not easy.
Nick Hutchings, the pitcher, takes his place at number 9 in the batting hitting lineup. Andrew Rogers remains at first. 1 out, top of the 3rd, 0-0. Nice little slide at that time from Corticus. And Hutchings swings through it for a K2. And we return to the top of the lineup. The left fielder, Kerry McLeod. Andrew Rogers remains at first base.
Well fought back here by Will after a lead-off walk. He's able to retire the next 2 batters without the runner moving.
Dalton Osborne says he went around for the first strike. 2 out, top of the 3rd. Good piece of it from McLeod, but he finds Reece Launder out there at left field for a fairly straightforward catch. Once again, I highlight the fact that all the centre and the left fielder do have to contend with the sun at this time of night, so it was a good catch in the end by Reece Launder. So that's the end of that threat, and we move to the middle of the third with Southern Districts, having batted 3 times now, have yet to pick up a run. Into the bottom of their third inning, also in a similar position. James Henty, the designated hitter, is going to lead off, and James has had a bit of a purple patch himself in recent weeks, and whilst he's only had the limited number of at-bats, he's done a great job, and he's currently batting 400, which is pretty impressive. So certainly if he can keep that up, he'll stay in as the DH for as long as he's needed. So James Henty is the next batter up, and Hutchings still to continue.
Yeah, always been a good hitter, James. He's probably lost a yard on his when he was a bit younger, but he can always hit. He's always been a great hitter. I might just touch on our sponsors while we're having a bit of a break here, Mark. We've got, so I've already spoken about our gold sponsors and our Lockley's Hotel, but I suppose our platinum sponsors are the Australian Dental Foundation, JSR Plumbing, Stoke Fireplaces, Actus, Full Hammer and B Switchcraft. They've all come on, all new sponsors this year, except for JSR Plumbing, of course, who most people know of, with Rexy sponsoring not just our club, but Super League, well known around baseball circles. So we thank all of those sponsors for coming on board this year. Our next lot of sponsors: Mortgage Choice, Frank Reconveyancing, Exceed Solar, Vo Financial, NC Renovations and Novita Wines.
All right, so we go to the bottom of the third, and Hutchings to James Henty. And Henty looks at the first ball over the outside edge for a first strike. James has had a limited number of at-bats. He's only had 10, but with the 4 hits, it's made for good scoring in terms of average. So he's done some clutch hitting. I know he's been absolutely on fire in the lower grade. So he's forced his way in the way that every batter should, by simply dint of performance. Fouls the second pitch back for 0-2.
Just a really experienced hitter, James. Just always gives you a good at bat. You know what you're going to get. He's going to make the pitcher work, and more often than not, he'll put the ball in play for you.
On that occasion, though, it swings through on 3 pitches, and
commentator's curse.
And that's the first out in the bottom of the third for West Torrens. We now go back to the top of the lineup, and Jasper Clark, centre fielder, comes to the plate. Clark only faced the 1 pitch in the first innings and was hit by it. That one's down on the outside edge for a ball. Same spot, just off the edge.